This is going to be your weekly chakra energy check-in. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. We're going to take a look at the energies you may be experiencing in your chakras. So as I'm filming this today, we are days away from a full moon in Leo, and I'm really curious to know how you're feeling. I may do another video in a few days about that full moon. If you'd like me to do one, let me know in the comments. But I have to say, it's a very mixed energy that I'm feeling. You know, I sat down to film this reading a few minutes ago, and honestly, I felt two different energies. And one is that it's time to get down to business. I was thinking of the song, let's get down to business. I don't know where that came from. It's like I could feel that energy. And the reason I say that is because Venus is now in Capricorn for the next, 3 weeks or so. And that kind of energy says, okay, be methodical, get your I's dotted, your T's crossed kind of thing. Because Venus is about self-worth, self-value, self-respect. It's how you love. It's how you spend money. So Capricorn, it kind of gives us more of a serious vibe because we were just in Venus and Sagittarius, and that's more freedom and fun-loving type of energy. Now it's a little more serious. However, what I'm also feeling is that a lot of you are depleted, and we need to take things slowly, step by step. And that's hard for people because the message is really to be in the present moment. And yet, when we want to get down to business, it's like we want to accomplish everything overnight. We want instant results. We want instant gratification. And that's just not how things work. So if you're feeling this contradiction or you're feeling those energies, please let me know in the comments because it's like a teeter-totter in a way. It's like I can see it going back and forth, back and forth. So let's look into the energies. Sorry, that was a long sigh. I can just feel something, and I want to mention something else, actually. Pardon me. I'm going to repeat myself from the other day. That full moon in Leo. The full moon in Leo is a very passionate kind of energy, right? And passion can have many things associated to it, many words associated to it. And another vibe that I've been feeling is a bit of this angry vibe, where people could be angry, aggressive, tense, and even like sad angry, if that makes sense. So again, let me know in the comments. There's this overwhelming sense of overwhelm, So I guess this is sort of the energy where things are going to come to light. And you may like them and you may not, is how I would describe it. Because Leo energy, and I've said this many, many times in my videos. Oh, I had a card go flying. What was it? Grace and generosity, benefactor. We're getting ready to receive something really nice. I know we are. But things have to sort of come to a head. And Leo energy is the type where, in regards to communication, they can have this verbal diarrhea of sudden, anger or pop-offishness or whatever it is to sort of make a point or to spark a conversation that's necessary. Sometimes the timing of that verbal diarrhea is like, wow, didn't see that coming. On the other hand, Leo energy can dance around something for so long and avoid and ignore. And therefore, there's this waiting on someone else to say something or do something or to make a decision. So I kind of feel like we're getting this pop-offish, angry energy, tense energy, where maybe someone just can't take it anymore and they got to say something. And I don't know. Let me know. I know that was my own verbal diarrhea for the last, how many minutes here talking about these energies. But I definitely feel this. And so I'm curious if you do too. Let's take a look at the overall messages for this reading. Gathering around, the power of community. It's interesting. I really do think that people are coming together more than ever. There's a bit of an uprising that's happening. Where collectively we can't take things anymore and we say, hey, are you with me? I was talking on live yesterday about the observations that I'm seeing in my sessions or experiences that I've had personally. And I want you all to know that you are all connected. Your stories are very similar to each other. I legit have the same conversation pretty much 100% of my day, just different people with slightly different details. Understand that when we go through the awakening process, there's really a very simple formula for how it goes. And I think sometimes we don't realize that other people experience the same things. And that's why it's so important to come together, and why I appreciate you as my online family as much as I do, because I want you to all be in a safe space where you feel a part of something, and where you learn from me, learn from other people, and know that you don't have to do any of this by yourself. So the power of community, absolutely. Okay, so Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Maybe I have to Google this. I'm not familiar, but I mean, it says here, you know, subconscious influences is kind of what I'm going to go with on this card. Mental bias as well. Examine something more deeply. You know, I think that in regards to growth and change, it's important to pick and choose who you spend your time with, because most people don't understand the reawakening process. And that's why I always say talk to people who understand energy, not people who are going to judge based on their own bias. Let's see, what else do we need to know here? Earth Pig, surrender to the moment. This is what I was saying earlier, you know, where we need to be in the present moment. And, you know, I'll add something about the subconscious influences and mental bias. Understand that your emotional pain body is what pulls you backwards. Your old traumas, triggers, and hurts. And as well, with regards to bias, sometimes people want to hear whatever they want to hear because it serves them in the moment. And I always look at that as sometimes being a short-term gain, long-term pain, where we want that instant gratification, but yet in the long run, it's not going to be the best thing for us. And that's why I always pride myself on being honest with you when I do sessions with you, or when I'm in lives talking about these topics. Because if I don't tell you, who will? I want you to do well. I want you to be happy. I want you to improve. I want you to go through this process more smoothly than the way I did, you know? Granted, I can only share. It's up to people to decide how they want to, you know, go about the process, or when people are ready. You're ready when you're ready. Now, I just want to look at the book here for a second. I did last week, and I think it's important to look at some key things here. You know, the Earth Pig pillar represents uncertainty and rapidly changing circumstances. With Yin Earth associated with Mother Earth in control of the pig, a Yin water sign, our desires to love and nurture and be loved and nurtured can sometimes overwhelm our loved ones. The pig, a travel star, is fast and adventurous by nature, but can lack vision in the presence of earth element. Wait for the mud to clear before the wisdom contained in the depth of the yin water can emerge. Now, this is the point. Subconscious influences, looking at something more deeply, surrendering to the moment. You know, here's the thing, is that, you know, in time, things will become more clear. Clarity may be absent when this card appears in a reading, and the best action right now is to take none. So that relates back to what I was saying to you about let's get down to business. I think there's a balance here. Yes, you must do, but you don't have to force, okay? Don't force anything. Don't force love. Don't force, career. Just go with the flow. Surrender to the moment. Be a part of the community or your soul tribe that makes you feel good. And and be careful of any mental bias or subconscious influences. You know, a lot of people tell me, you know, they don't like to watch the news. They don't like to watch certain TV shows because, of course, that influences how we feel. You know, when you're watching dating shows, you know, when you're watching The Bachelor and Love is Blind, we're seeing all this, you know, instant gratification that teaches us that we have to rush the process instead of trusting the process. So let's take a look here at the energies for our chakras. Let's get into it. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. All right. So we're going to start with the root chakra. And the root chakra is Mars. This is our foundation. So how are we feeling with our foundation right now? The star, we're healing it. We're healing it. Okay, star card. Let's get the oracle cards to go with this. Too many cards popping out. Let's see. Catalyst for major change. You know, this is my point. This is my point. There is this fire lit under your rear in certain ways, right? We got to do this. We got to make it happen. We got to go. You know, we're fueled. There's a spark, you know, and number 33 is Ascended Masters. So like that's teaching and learning essentially. And we have to learn from past experiences, obviously, yes. And the star is all about healing. So I would just say to you that you can't rush the healing process. You know, I think so many people would like to think that we can change in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And of course, anything is possible. But truly, when you're thinking about this, how many years have you lived? How easy is it to change those habits, those patterns, you know, the traumas, the triggers, the hurts? Now, that's not to discourage you. Change is possible, but it just takes time and an investment of your time, an investment in you. There's so much that goes into that. So you might feel like you want to read every self-help healing book, and that's wonderful. You might want to watch every video imaginable about your favorite people, you know, whether that's like Dr. Joe Dispenza or Eckhart Tolle, or you like watching Lewis Howes, you know, School of Greatness, who I think is amazing. You know, you can watch all those things, you can read all those things, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're implementing that strategy. Sometimes we're trying too hard. You know, I was speaking to somebody recently who said, I've been journaling, I've been reading, I've been watching, I've been this, I've been that. Sometimes you're just doing too much. Sometimes it's just too much, and you have to simplify your life. So let's see what else. See what I mean? 50-50. I think the theme of this reading really is this energy of like, I can see this side, I can see that side. I'm doing this, but I'm doing that. And it's not helping. It says at this time, things could go either way. Yeah, I think that's true, you know. Like I said, either we're gonna address something or we're gonna avoid it. Let's see what else we need to know. Let's look at the sacral chakra, which is Venus. Well, there's love in the air. Lovey vibes, strong love. I do believe that. And that's my point, is that, you know, we've got to take things step by step. The Chariot also says King of Water. Interesting, because we have the Knight of Water, King of Cups, or Knight of Cups underneath here, and this is the King of Cups. You know, this is about emotions. You want to try to be in tune with your emotions, which I know isn't easy. It's also telling you to move yourself forward. Regardless of the pace that you move, you've got to move onwards and upwards. You can't sit in the old energy, because it honestly isn't working anymore. And we see that in the societal shift with Pluto and Aquarius. You know, the next 20 years, we're talking a monumental shift here. Now, again, not going to happen overnight, but it's a huge change for us collectively. And I know that many of you on a personal level are going through major changes as well, that you have to make the decision, are you in the old, are you in the new? And some of you have been asking me lately, like, what does that mean? You know, what does it mean when I say that? What it means is the person you were 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 years ago would have done things so differently. You thought you wanted something. You so had to have it. But if you were to look back now, I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. Is that what you really wanted? Was that really the right decision you made back then? You know, and obviously we can't redo things from the past, right? We can learn from them. We can't just go back and change things. But the person you are now, I mean, if you're in the new, that means you're going to do different. That means you're going to strive to do different. You're going to take the necessary steps to do different because the old stuff isn't working anymore. And see, this is the thing that's really difficult. I don't like this card. I've never liked this card in this deck. Because this is a card that can talk about humiliation or fault, you know, finding fault or punishment. I mean, listen, finding fault, you know, it's okay to look back at your past and say, I shouldn't have done this. I could have done better. It's okay. We can't live in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? It's just important to acknowledge and move past it. But this card also says nowhere to run, in the sense that, you know, I do believe that right now we are in an energy that says we have to address certain things. We can't keep running away from them. We have to go through them, not around them. As I keep saying, onwards and upwards. But what I do like about this card, if I could give one word from this card that I do like, it says vulnerable. And I think that's the key here is, can you be vulnerable enough right now to move yourself forward? What's one small thing that you could do today to push yourself in a new direction? Okay? Because the Knight of Cups is about offering that cup of love. It's emotional. It's your heart. It's being open to love. Love can be anything, right? It can be romantic, it can be just a love of life, you know? Let's take a look at your solar plexus, your personal power. And we have justice, equal giving and receiving. Isn't it time to have balance in your life? Like, don't you want that? You know, this is peace, this is harmony, this is equal giving and receiving. And, you know, I'm noticing something just in general, and I don't know what the other cards obviously will be. These two cards are blue, and blue is the throat chakra, and that's about speaking up, speaking your truth. I kind of feel like this energy of this full moon is going to force us to speak up or out about something, even if it's not easy, to address it and to bring balance or to restore balance to our life, to be vulnerable. Let's take a look at the oracle cards with it. The raccoon. See, the raccoon is about problem solving. It's asking questions. It's being curious and creative. And when you're curious and creative, you are moving forward. You're sparking new energy. You know, this is why I love passion projects, because they allow you to be creative and ask questions and seek out those answers. You know, when somebody sits there and says, I know, I already know, they're closing themselves off to something else that could be amazing. You know, there's a difference between fixed mindset and growth mindset. You know, somebody who has fixed mindset says, I already know everything that I need to know. There's nothing more for me to gain. It's like saying, well, you know, I can't play the piano. I'll never be a concert pianist. No, maybe not. But you can get better at playing the songs you like. You can improve your skills. But somebody with growth mindset says, okay, let me try. What about this? What about that? Okay, so what do I need to know about insert blank? You know, that creativity and asking questions is actually your key to moving yourself forward. Because people always ask me, you know, Kelly, how do I surrender? How do I move forward? How do I leave behind this old energy? You have to spark new energy. And if you want to think about your brain, and this is where I'm going to get all sciencey with you, but this is like where you create new synapses in the brain, like where you put new sparks into your brain of learning and connecting. You know, if you're not making new connections, or you're not asking questions, or you're not putting yourself out there, meeting new people, how are you going to grow and change? You know, I always tell a really interesting story about when I started my spiritual reawakening. You know, nothing's a coincidence. It was an interesting moment where my ex-husband was looking for a massage therapist, and he found one that lived very close to us. And I saw the card, the business card on the kitchen counter, and she had the chakra system on the business card. And I didn't really know much about the chakras or Reiki. I had never had a Reiki session before. And, you know, I saw the business card and I said, oh, maybe I should go see her too. You know, I have benefits, I'll go see her. And I did. And of course, we hit it off and became good friends. And through her, I met a new network of friends who were incredible teachers to me. And I got to have all this new information and experiences that led me to other great experiences. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, when you allow your healing in, you know, the star card here, your healing in, and to ask questions and find balance in life and to be vulnerable and to make a decision, because being 50-50 is not making a decision. If you want to stay in 50-50 or sitting on the fence or not making a decision is making a decision, then okay, but understand that you're not going to see change, because that's you being unclear to the universe, right? I keep repeating it. If you want peace, you've got to give clarity. So let's go to the other oracle card here. Me and my side stories here. See, oh my goodness. Okay. Now, I'm thinking about a post that I saw just yesterday talking about the number 717. And it's funny because the person in the video, I don't think is a very spiritual person, not that that matters, but it kind of surprised me that they were sort of like talking about the coincidence of the 717. And now all of a sudden I'm looking at this card and my first thought was 717. So if that's an angel number that means something to you, you might want to look it up. Or, you know, I really appreciated, by the way, the other day when some of you posted in the comments the meaning of the blue jay. That really helped, and I'm sure it helped others. So if you know the meaning of 717 or you looked it up, let us know. I've looked it up before as well. See, look, the white rabbit is a spark of curiosity. It's a spiritual awakening. It's time, heeding the call. Research it. That's my point. Research it. Inner knowing, dark to light. You know, this is all about heeding the call. It's time. It's time. You can't sit back anymore. Yet you need to just go with the flow. We're not saying go 0 to 100. We're talking, you know, just take it in stride. Okay, now I'm really curious to see the heart. What do we need to know about the heart? King of Wands. The King of Wands is passion. It's purpose. It's nurturing. It's forward motion. It's very strong, intense energy, which, hey, listen, Aries, Leo, Sag, I mean, King of Wands, Leo, full moon in Leo. I think the heart, I want to say the heart is on fire. The heart is on fire. How many of you feel that, where it's like this burning desire? Pardon me. The beaver. You know, things have worked against you at times, but persistence pays off. There's new things on the horizon. Stay determined. It even says repetition, and here's my point. People don't like to repeat anything, right? However, what does repetition do? Practice makes perfect. I was just talking about the piano. Maybe the piano is a reference for some of you. I'm not sure. Do you have any experiences learning to play the piano? I do. I do. My parents bought this beautiful piano. I don't know where they had the money to do this, to be honest with you. I think they liked it because of the way it looked in the living room. But they bought this beautiful, beautiful black grand piano. Like I said, I don't know where they got the money for this. And my mother wanted to take piano lessons with me. And oh, I tried. I really did. I did okay. I did okay. But we all know that practice makes perfect, right? You have to be able to sit down and feel motivated to practice. And so, repetition is not a bad thing. Repetition is actually a good thing. However, you've got to learn from the repetition. Sometimes people go around and around and around and around and somehow don't make any progress. And you have to ask yourself, are you not making progress because, you're not wanting to really go to the next level because it's scary? Are you getting in your own way? Or is it because somehow you're just not learning the lesson? Geez, now I'm thinking about all kinds of lessons. It's like swimming lessons. Like in swimming lessons, you can't move to the next level until you've mastered those skills because they're important. It's your life. You know what I mean? Like swimming is important. We don't want anyone hurt. So repeating something, even when it's difficult, can be really beneficial. So let's see what else you need to know here. Well, person of fire, no doubt. The trend-setting leader, confident, visionary, catalyst, energetic, entrepreneur, sexy, outgoing, creative, ruthless, courageous, and strong-willed. You might be a fire sign. You might be dealing with a fire sign. I want to take another one with that. I'm just kind of curious because we know we're getting fiery energy. Surrender. Surrender. Let go, let God. Let things flow. Okay, let's take a look at hold on here. I'm like drawing a blank. I'm in deep thought over here. Okay, so we have the root, sacral, solar, heart, and now we're at the throat. And I mentioned the throat earlier. What is it that we need to say? What needs to be said in general? Oh, there's that Ace of Wands, a spark. Purpose, passion. It may come out suddenly. The lion, Leo energy. This is my point. Majestic, authority, self-esteem, pride, ego, overcoming difficulties, fair and just, devoted and heart-centered. Okay, let's see what else. Sorry for that sigh. Deep thoughts. Listen, some of you are uncertain. There's still that lingering 50-50. I need another one. I need to know why. Airplane. Rise up, overcome, freedom, breaking free. It's interesting, that card also says leave it behind. And I think some of you are actually afraid of leaving some things behind. Because on one hand, how many of you have had a moment recently where something may have been talked about and you were sort of like, darned if you do, darned if you don't? Like, if you are honest about something, maybe somebody can't handle it. But if you lie about it, it's known that you're lying. So it's like, why lie? Why not just be honest? I think there's this fear of honesty, because People are afraid of being judged, you know, or even some are afraid of hurting others with the truth. But there's always a way to deliver a message, you know, and this is something that I've been thinking about this week. And that is, you know, I have to give feedback every day. That's not easy. Okay. I've been doing that for, 20 years as a teacher as well. You know, giving students feedback or giving people feedback about things is never easy, but there's a way that you can deliver that message. If it comes from the heart and it's clear and it's genuine and it's kind, even though not easy, then there's nothing to worry about. I don't worry about giving feedback because I know that it comes from a good place, and I know that all of you know that it's coming from a good place. Now, of course, every now and again, there are going to be those who, you know, take it personally or maybe are triggered, and, you know, that's tough. It's never a nice feeling on both ends. But at the same time, the way in which you communicate says a lot. You know, one thing I'm noticing in society right now especially is this inability to have manners at times, you know, to greet people respectfully, you know, like hi, hello. And that could be even like writing emails, that could be going into a store. It's like, where did we lose this sense of manners or delivery, you know? I guess a lot of people are struggling, and I do understand that. But it doesn't necessarily excuse bad behavior either, right? So we can all understand having a bad day or going through tough times. But, you know, I would always say, try to put the shoe on the other foot, you know, whatever the situation. We want positive energy, and that's what fights the good fight. And I'm not saying rainbows and butterflies every minute of the day. What I'm saying is the energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. I used to say that if I walked into a classroom, or if I if I went on live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, every day, and I had a rotten attitude and I was angry and upset, what do you think the vibe would be in my classroom or in my lives? It wouldn't be very nice. Now, I'm not saying be fake or disingenuous, but I'm very conscious of how my energy influences other people because I care about the energy of other people. So it's a tough one. Okay, deep thoughts today. Let's look at the third eye, intuition. Ace of Coins. Do you notice how we're getting new beginnings? We're ascending to these new beginnings. You know, Ace of Coins is tangible new beginnings, new home, new job, new relationship. You know, what I'm seeing, I don't know what the last card is going to be in the Chakra Wisdom Tarot down the center, but do you notice how this healing at the very bottom has really brought us to a new foundation? Like we're building something new here. The healing, the communicating, the trusting intuition, because this would be, you know, third eye and crown, you know, where you're getting the downloads, you're trusting yourself, and then you're starting these new beginnings here. Ace of Wands, Ace of Coins. You know, I look at this and I say, like, victory. Victory. That's a Chariot card we had earlier, you know? And let's see. Unconditional love. Divine union. Love of a lifetime. Feeling connected. Isn't that what you want? Feeling connected. The power of community. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness, I love this. I just love when we get near the end of the reading. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. We start one way, we go another, and then all of a sudden we turn another corner, and then we see this. Heart and home, happy home, security, love, kindness, family, belonging, bliss, contentment, comfort, established, fulfilled, legacy, boundaries, affection, peace, heart's desire, and longevity. Another 6. 6, 6 is equal giving and receiving and balance. Okay, let's get to the crown chakra. stability. Queen of Coins. Loves their family and home. Likes nice things, but is also generous. Balance. Achieving that stability. Isn't that what we all want? To feel stable, to feel good, to experience new things. Yeah. Soulmate energy, supportive energy, peers, there's your community. You might be a healthcare provider, but faithful companion in general. Side note, I'm kind of feeling a strong dog energy for someone. I don't know if someone's dog just recently, I hate to say this because I don't like those kind of energies, but like someone's dog could have passed away or something happened with a dog where it reminded you of the importance of caring for one another. Feeling like somebody was there for you. There was a dependable energy, and that's what you're seeking in general. I guess that's what I'm getting at. The feeling of stability, dependable energy. You know, it's interesting. It's a very mixed energy, yet balanced. On one side, it's like you are self-reliant. You can handle it, whatever it is, but you want to feel that somebody's got your back. Yeah, you can do it. It's like how I feel, and I'm sorry. I know this may not be a popular thing to say. I'm not a fan of the song Flowers by Miley Cyrus. Yeah, it's catchy. Sure, I can buy myself flowers. Yes, I can buy myself flowers. I can write my name in the sand. I can take myself dancing. I can do all that. Of course I can. That's not a surprise. But I want to feel taken care of. I want to feel like somebody's got my back. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes people just don't know how to be open to that. And that's the whole point that I was saying down here about being vulnerable. It's so important for you to feel vulnerable. Okay, I'm going to, this is a long one. This is a long one. I can't help it. Why? Can I just say that some of you need to get out of the why energy? Why? And if you're asking why, then go find the answers. Stop saying why and doing nothing. Sorry, that's a little bit of hard-ass Kelly coming out here. Because why is not going to change anything unless you're actually seeking out those answers and being creative. So if you want to flip that and say, go ask questions, why? Question things. How about that? You know, look, by the book is a card that says, you know, okay, take methodical steps. And I like the idea of taking methodical steps, but I also want to remind you that you don't always have to be by the book. There are some people who are so regimented that it has to be by the book, and no, it doesn't. There's no specific way to learn things. You can do it in whatever way suits you. And here we go. I knew it. Mending. Healing. Ask the questions. Find a way to get to your healing. You know what I'm going to say? Maybe it's even buy the book. I'm saying B-U-Y, buy the book. Whatever, if there's something you've been thinking about buying or studying or whatever, I don't know, that's so random. Maybe that's your sign that this is the time. Okay, what do we need to surrender or surrender to? Surrender to spirit, absolutely. Once you've done everything you can to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let spirit work its magic for you. Absolutely. Well, this is quite a long reading. Thank you if you're still here. I really appreciate it. You know, I couldn't do this without you. I love what I get to do every day and have these deep conversations, and I appreciate that you give me the platform to do that. If you'd like to do a personal reading with me, the link is in my bio. If you'd like a recorded reading or a forecast for 2024, it's also available on my website. We're doing a full moon Zoom on Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's also available on my website. We're doing a general collective reading with the full moon and Leo energies, and within 2 weeks of that, you'll get your own recorded mini moon reading personalized by me. So thank you very much, everybody, and I wish you an amazing day.